working. Let's see if my live stream is actually working so I can do my review, my intro here. Alright, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is Jacob Cast 2024. Welcome back to my YouTube channel, my live stream. We're going to talk about AEW and WWE Smackdown. Then we're going to do AEW Full Gear. Want to make sure this is working. Okay, good. I don't know why it took so long last time. Finally, I can now talk about Smackdown. Hit that like button, leave a comment, please subscribe to my channel. Let me know in the comment section below y'all want to see more. I didn't do a Smackdown last night. I'm going to do one tonight so I can talk about Smackdown, AEW, and I'll talk about the World Collide, the Mexico show for WWE. I know that was on. I think that just went off a couple minutes ago. So anyway, I just want to say hit that like button, leave a comment, please subscribe to my channel, let me know in the comment section below y'all want to see more. My video is sponsored by Salamander Sound, Fightful Pro Wrestling, JD from New York, and other podcasters and YouTubers that I know of. Now, while I play Fortnite, we'll talk about Smackdown that happened last night, and then AEW Full Gear, the pay-per-view that's on tonight. It may be over by now. But yeah. Just want to I'll let y'all know. Yeah, so okay. Alright. So let's do it. Hopefully y'all can enjoy this live stream. It'll be like an hour and 10 minutes. I'm hoping it's not that long. Well, now we got the WWE AAA Lucio A Tour. The main event we had Dominic and Grande Americano versus Dragon Lee and Vikingo and AAA from Mexico City. AEW Saturday Night Brawl. Yeah, so now Smackdown was hold on, I'm trying to see if I can get the right one. Get this show on television. We still got one more week until Survivor Series. Honestly, another 5 hours of hardcore. I probably should talk about Smackdown first. Because I know Smackdown. Hold on. Now, before I get into AEW, I want to talk about Smackdown first. Smackdown was a decent show. It was actually much better than last week. What the hell? Oh, God damn it. Trying to get the Smackdown here. It won't. Alright, here we go. So now I can talk about Smackdown. Okay, come on. First, I gotta find a hiding spot so I can. Okay, so what happened on Smackdown? The show opened up with, I think the heels came out. Bronson Reed, Braun Breaker, Paul Heyman, and Logan Paul, and the Usos. And then we got Drew McIntyre attacked Cody Rhodes outside tour bar, hitting a Claymore kick. Cody Rhodes busted open. It was not as bad as when The Rock beat him up last year. We also had a very good match with Ilya Dragunov versus JD McDonough in an open challenge for the U.S. title. A very good match. JD McDonough really improved. He's getting better. Ilya Dragunov's having great open challenges. But kind of the same thing that we've been seeing for the open challenges. First Sami Zayn, now Dragunov. Hope he has a feud and a storyline that they can do to get it more interesting. But Dragunov did retain. He beat McDonough. We also had Carmelo Hayes defeated Bronson Reed thanks to the help of Cody Rhodes. Yeah, so Carmelo Hayes beat Bronson Reed with Cody Rhodes assisting to help. Yeah, so I get Carmelo Hayes will advance and face Gunther I guess next week, probably on Raw. Cody Rhodes attack Bronson Reed after. And then Cody Rhodes say he wants to take on the Vision probably next week. Or on Raw. We got Candice LeRae. She lifts Dio Wyatt with a win over Frasium. We got Penta. He beat Finn Balor to advance in the tournament. The 16 tournament for John Cena's last opponent. And then the main event of Smackdown was the woman. We know that AJ Lee going to be in War Games. Becky Lynch will be in War Games on the heel side. AJ Lee can be in War Games on the face side. Alright, so I might as well show y'all some of the podcasters. Here's the media scrum for AEW. I know that the show's over, but I'm not gonna show that. Hold on. Yeah, so Nick Aldis confront Paul Heyman, Ciampa confront Dragunov, they're teasing that. Elizabeth to blame Charlotte Flair. Okay, come on. There were some NBA games on last night. I actually want to show y'all JD from New York. Alright. Drew McIntyre and versus Cody Rhodes on the tour bus.
Attacking Cody Rhodes in his tour bus. And Friday Night Smackdown, man, was a low-key banger tonight. Low-key banger. I got no problems with tonight's show, man. We are going to stay positive tonight. We're going to stay positive. I can't really find any fault or any wrong with tonight's show. Crowd in Denver was great. All in all, it was a good night. The big story coming out of the show, obviously we have the tournament matches, we had the angle with the men's war games, which all kind of saw itself play out in the Carmelo Hayes and Bronson Reed first round match tonight, where we got the Vision involved, the Usos were involved, Cody Rhodes was involved, Carmelo Hayes and Bronson Reed had a very good match. We'll get into that in a little bit, but the tournament itself was the biggest story of the night. Not only with its great pro wrestling and who advanced, but who has now been eliminated. Not for anything that he did in the tournament, but Sheamus is now removed from the tournament, and we are now looking for an active replacement to fill in for Sheamus on Monday Night Raw. Now, I think whoever's wrestling LA Knight, I believe it was supposed to be Sheamus versus LA Knight. I think whoever's wrestling LA Knight is going to be wrestling LA Knight on Friday. Which, next week, I guess we'll find out by the end of the night, honestly, because next week's show is Thanksgiving week. Thursday's Thanksgiving. Friday, WWE is giving the roster off. And next weekend is going to be Survivor Series. So I guess we'll find out who it is by the end of the night, because right now they are taping the show for next week in Denver. There's going to be a tape show next week, so if you don't want to be spoiled, stay off social media. But Sheamus apparently is injured, and WWE gave an official statement on their social media today. He defeated Shinsuke Nakamura in the opening round on Raw earlier this month, and a lot of people were looking forward to maybe Sheamus versus Gunther in the finals for the Last Time Is Now tournament, which is something I was hoping for, being that we didn't get as many surprises as we wanted, and seeing how things played out, Sheamus and Gunther were on opposite sides of the tournament, and that was the best match currently with the superstars involved, the best match that could end up as the final. WWE tweeted out, breaking news, due to a shoulder injury, Sheamus is not medically cleared to continue competition in the Last Time Is Now tournament. Additional information will be provided on Smackdown tonight. The only information they gave you tonight is that Adam Pearce and Nick Aldis are coming together to find a replacement, and that replacement will be announced by next Friday's show. Who that is, I don't know. But I want to show you, because I actually took a still shot of the tournament. They actually gave us brackets. So we now know where this tournament is going to take us, and this is what it's looking like right now, as you guys see on screen right there. They finally gave us the bracket for the Last Time Is Now tournament. Winner faces John Cena on Saturday night's main event, December 13th on Peacock. On the left side, we have Jey Uso, Yeet Man, against Rusev. I don't want Jey Uso to advance in this tournament, because I feel like there's a good possibility, and I don't want to put it out there in the open. There's a good possibility we may end up with Jey Uso versus Gunther in the final of this fucking tournament. God help us if that is the fucking final of this tournament, man. There will be an outrage on social media.
This is the absolute best phone holder for your car. Your phone clips right into it and it attaches.
Ridiculous. Nobody wants that. I'm going Rusev. I hope Rusev wins it. Honestly. Just like Bronson Reed got taken out, I think the Vision's gonna fuck over Jey Uso. And the Vision got fucked over tonight by Team Punk to take out Bronson Reed. So hopefully they do the same to Jey Uso on Monday. LA Knight was supposed to wrestle Sheamus. Now, who is LA Knight going to wrestle? I have my hunch. I think with Sheamus being injured, if he is injured, I mean, he wrestled on Monday at Madison Square Garden and looked all right. I don't know what had happened. I don't want to sit here and tell you that Sheamus isn't injured, but you got to question everything, man. Sheamus may have been pulled because WWE wants to get Joe Hendry in this tournament. They may actually plug in Joe Hendry here to fight LA Knight. LA Knight moves on to the semifinals against Rusev, and then LA Knight goes to the final. Obviously, Gunther is going to beat Carmelo Hayes, which should be a great match on Monday. And then Solo Sikoa will wrestle Penta one-on-one. So we're looking like Gunther, Penta, LA Knight, and Rusev. I hope that's the case. LA Knight and Gunther may be your final for the John Cena tournament. WWE continues to play with the LA Knight fan base, bro. Is it Miz? Are you guys already looking at spoilers? The Miz was already in the fucking tournament. The Miz already lost to Jey Uso. Are you guys trolling me? How is it Miz if Miz already lost in the fucking tournament? What are we talking about here? What are we talking about here? How could it be Miz? You gotta be fucking kidding me. You gotta be fucking kidding me, man. Jesus Christ, this tournament sucks. I swear to God, this tournament sucks, bro. People are saying PW Insider reported it. Jesus Christ. Bro, it can't be Miz, bro. Someone link me an article, man. Someone find me a tweet or an article, man. That can't be. I swear to God, that can't be, bro. That cannot be, man. They cannot be. That cannot be, bro. I'm. There's legitimately no way. Someone find me a link. Someone find me a tweet, man. All right, so LA Knight. LA Knight's going to the finals. LA Knight and Gunther is going to be your final of the John Cena tournament. Bro, I don't know how, you know, I didn't want to be negative, man. You know, it's not even next week's show, but how you don't plug someone in there like a Dragunov or a fucking Joe Hendry or someone else, man. They have options, and then they go with The Miz. The Miz who already lost. I don't even know how you make sense of that. How do you make sense of that? To plug someone in the tournament who already lost in the first round, to give him another opportunity. What makes him so special compared to everybody else who's already lost in the tournament? Don't you think Sheamus should have a fucking say on who fills in for him? I don't know, man. I don't know. Listen, we'll figure it. Per wrestle votes, is it really, bro? You're really gonna drive me fucking crazy tonight, right? Now, WrestleVotes didn't tweet anything. You guys are trolling me. You guys are trolling me. You gotta be trolling. Let me see, The Miz. Let's see. Latest. I don't see nothing. You guys gotta be trolling me. LA Knight vs. The Miz is taking place on next week's show being taped. Though no confirmation if this match is taking place in the tournament. Now, the chat didn't get me good. I'm seeing it on Twitter. I don't know, man. Oh, my goodness. So there goes my hunch about Sheamus's fill-in. Gunther's gonna win the tournament against LA Knight. God bless the LA Knight fans. God bless the LA Knight fans, bro. LA Knight's going to the finals to wrestle Gunther, and Gunther will retire John Cena in Washington, D.C. on December 13th. There you go. But at least we got some great tournament matches tonight. Carmelo Hayes and Bronson Reed fucking killed it. Melo stepped up to the plate tonight big time, and that was one of his better matches all year against Bronson Reed. It's nice to see the Vision out there kind of causing chaos before War Games to help their guy Bronson Reed win. Usos came out to back up Carmelo Hayes, and Cody Rhodes came out to back up Carmelo Hayes and cost Bronson Reed the match. Really, really good stuff. And the match ended in a countout, which not only protected Bronson Reed, but also gave Carmelo Hayes the win, who was the right choice in this situation to go to the next round. Even though a Bronson Reed and Gunther match would have been great, I think Carmelo Hayes coming up as a babyface against Gunther is going to be the better match. And we get Melo on Raw, and that's going to be a nice showcase match for him as well, and he certainly deserves it. The other match was Penta versus Finn Balor. I thought they had a very good match as well. They worked great together. It's great to see Penta on Smackdown, where his brother Rey Fenix calls home. Penta versus Gunther is going to be a fantastic semifinals for this tournament. That is going to be awesome. I wish that we got it in the actual final of the tournament, because I just don't really give a shit to see LA Knight in a match that is going to be uber predictable. But I'm looking forward to that taking place as well. So we got Gunther versus Hayes, and then Penta versus Solo on Monday Night Raw. LA Knight supposedly is wrestling The Miz on Friday, and then Jey Uso will battle Rusev, I believe, on Friday as well. So that's that. That's the John Cena Last Time Is Now tournament. And I know a lot of people are upset that Gunther's going to go on to the final, but seeing this field of remaining superstars, I don't really see who else is the better pick here. And no, it's not going to be LA Knight. They don't look at LA Knight the way that they see Gunther. I understand you guys may be upset. I understand that WWE is not pushing your guy, but you're lucky he's even going to the finals at this point. It's almost like WWE is trolling not only LA Knight, but the LA Knight fan base. He'll get as close as possible to being the guy, but he'll fall short every single fucking time, whether it's for a World Heavyweight Championship, whether it's in this situation, finals against Gunther, and the Last Time Is Now tournament to wrestle John Cena. He gets almost there, but gets the rug pulled out right from underneath him.
Domino's new spicy chicken bacon ranch pizza is topped with and drizzled in
Walk me through this again. It's just, can't make a billion tons of rock just disappear. We're not making the asteroid disappear.
Are you guys surprised? No, they're not doing Rusev versus Gunther. They're not doing heel versus heel. It's going to be a babyface versus heel. Don't give me that shit. Penta versus Gunther should be the finals, but it's going to be Penta versus Gunther in the semifinals. And then LA Knight's going to win his side. So we'll keep an eye on that. I was hoping you guys were trolling me about the Miz stuff, but I see it making the rounds on social media. I don't know. They got to make sense of that. Ilya Dragunov had a United States Open Challenge tonight against a member of the Raw roster, J.D. McDonough. Probably the best Open Challenge that Dragunov has had so far. McDonough's a fucking beast. The guy can wrestle circles around most of the roster, and he bumps like Dolph Ziggler. He's so great. And they had a banger match tonight. DIY wrestled Fraxim, and they got their old NXT themes back. The latest in NXT theme music's returning. We got Gunther on Monday. Tonight we got No One Will Survive for Tommaso Ciampa and Rebel Heart for Johnny Gargano. My God, man, I started to relive the Mauro Ranallo NXT days when I heard this theme music. Excellent stuff there. We had a great show tonight from top to bottom, man. We're going to go over it. We're going to have some fun tonight. Thank you guys for joining me here on Off the Script. This is your Friday night SmackDown post show for November 21, 2025. Tonight we are sponsored by Blue Chew and Logan Paul. No Drew McIntyre and no Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar was not showing up in Denver, Colorado on a random Friday night. Heyman says they have a vision for War Games and he would bestow that wisdom upon each and every single one of you. He said 5 of the fans' heroes would be locked inside a double cage and tsunamied by Reed, the original tribal chief. He said 5 heroes would learn their need for an evil, ruthless, violent strategy. Something so putrid that the devil himself would sell his soul to you. So when you die and go to hell, there is no competition for running the joint. He said that man is the Maverick, Logan Paul. Heyman handed the microphone to Logan Paul. He told Denver to shut their mouths because I have a lot I want to get off my chest. As he said, he had 5 things to say. Jay and Jimmy Uso interrupted. At least they came down the aisleway and not through the crowd, taking 7 minutes of our time off on Friday Night SmackDown. So they made their way to the ring from the stage. Jay asked Heyman, when the music died down, if he's all right because he was running his mouth as if they didn't just drop his entire crew on Monday. Well, I mean, they dropped the entire crew, but they also got slaughtered by Brock Lesnar out there until Roman Reigns came and saved the day. Heyman says they made a mistake because they just pissed off Logan Paul by interrupting him. Heyman says when he created the bloodline, he did it so Roman Reigns' family could eat, so the Usos didn't live off of Roman anymore. He says he taught them that numbers always win. The numbers game always wins. Fans at this point chanted OTC, OTC. Roman was not there in the building. He will be on Raw. We have the advantage matches taking place. Breaker yelled off mic, "He's not here. He's never here. He's not coming." Because the fans were chanting for the OTC. Well, the OTC was in the ring because he's the original tribal chief, Bronson Reed. If we are to believe Paul Heyman. Heyman says they're outnumbered and about to get their asses kicked. Then fans started to chant for CM Punk, who also was not in the building in Denver. Cody's music played, and nobody came out. Fans started singing to Cody's theme, and they did their whoa, but then Cody never showed up. So we go to the back, and we get a camera crew running to Cody's tour bus, and out of Cody's tour bus walks Drew McIntyre. And then the camera pans into the tour bus, and Cody Rhodes is a bloody mess, laying off the driver's seat of the tour bus, upside down, almost kind of sliding down the bus staircase. McIntyre beat the shit out of Cody Rhodes. This was not like The Rock's beatdown in the ring. You guys remember that? For his fabled WrestleMania match with The Rock and Roman Reigns. I missed those days. That was a great ending. It wasn't anything like that. It wasn't raining. But McIntyre tried to pull a page out of the Rock's playbook and attack Cody Rhodes on his tour bus. The American Nightmare bus. So, as soon as they seen that, the Usos ran to the back, ran through the backstage area, camera crew was there, some medical and some agents were out there asking if Cody was alright. He had these huge gashes above his eyebrow and on his face because McIntyre beat the shit out of him. And that's the way the open of SmackDown started. Cody Rhodes getting his ass handed to him. Look at you now. Yeah, look at Cody now, man. All bruised and battered and beaten before War Games. So Drew McIntyre apparently is still suspended from SmackDown. So we go into a commercial break. We come back from the break. Cody was bloodied. He was being attended to by Usos and other agents checking on him. Drew McIntyre had left the scene. He got into his rental car, sped into frame, rolled the window down, and he yelled out of an open car window, "See you at War Games, champ!" and then sped away. We didn't see Drew McIntyre for the remainder of the show. Like I said, he is still suspended from Friday Night SmackDown, even though Paul Heyman has now enlisted his services for War Games. He still cannot be on Friday Night SmackDown, which I actually like. They're keeping the gimmick alive, which is great. So that was a great open. Honestly, we got nothing really new and exciting from Paul Heyman. It's always the same thing. He's always announcing his guys and hyping them up. He doesn't really have much to say anymore, you know? Some weeks he's got something to say, most weeks he's got nothing to say. Paul Heyman. But I thought this was a solid open, and I like the fact that Drew McIntyre took business into his own hands and attacked Cody Rhodes. So that was great. So they went to Michael Cole and Corey Graves at ringside. Cole said it was ridiculous since Drew was suspended a couple weeks ago. Graves says he's not wrong to be upset, but Heyman is masterfully skirting the rules. He said Drew didn't technically step foot inside the arena. He didn't, which makes the open all that much more smart by WWE and the vision. You see the type of game that Paul Heyman is indeed playing. He's using Drew McIntyre in the context that he can use him, and he's using him brilliantly, knowing that he can get to Cody Rhodes even while still being suspended. Opening match saw Ilya Dragunov defend the United States Championship against a member of the Raw roster in J.D. McDonough. So this was quite the surprise, because they are clearly running out of opponents, meaningful opponents, for Ilya Dragunov here. There really is nobody else on the roster. They've been setting up Tama Tonga. They've been teasing Tommaso Ciampa. He's wrestled both members of Fraxium. He wrestled Frazier and Axiom. He wrestled Johnny Gargano. So he's now dipping into the tag team ranks. There really is nobody left on the show to wrestle Ilya Dragunov. So, being that it's Survivor Series season, and Raw Superstars are on SmackDown, and SmackDown stars are on Raw, I guess it makes sense to enlist somebody else that Dragunov could easily beat, but isn't on the SmackDown roster. And that is J.D. McDonough. So this was a very, very good match. J.D. McDonough is so criminally underrated. A lot of people look at him as a jobber, but he is not anywhere close to that, in my opinion. He is tremendous. And the more he continues to do what he does here against the likes of Dragunov, and obviously on Monday Night Raw while wrestling alongside Finn Balor, I mean, the guy just is a machine. He never has a bad match. He's one of those guys, man, he's slowly creeping into that territory where he just doesn't have bad matches. And that's fucking great. So Dragunov and McDonough locked up.
When you shop in the Shaw's app, you can count on us to choose fresh produce, guaranteed.
McDonough chopped at Dragunov. He was met with a hard boot to the face. Dragunov knocked McDonough senseless with an enziguri to the head. And he could not finish it off with a suplex as he was chopped in the chest against the ropes. McDonough gained the advantage here in the match. He threw Dragunov hard into the middle rope, which sent him to the outside, and we go into a very early commercial break here. Typical WWE match begins within 90 seconds. We go to a commercial break. McDonough's in control. He's hammering away at Dragunov with some hard strikes to the face. We got some big kicks here by McDonough. Dragunov comes back with some offense. He answered with some chops to McDonough. He delivered the Constantine special. Both men are trying to get themselves back up here to a vertical base. McDonough and Dragunov got back up. They traded strikes until Dragunov connected with a set of German suplexes. McDonough is down. Dragunov then smashed the back of McDonough's head with repeated elbows and then nailed a back suplex. Dragunov tried for another Constantine special. McDonough turned that into a standing Spanish fly for a near fall. McDonough escaped a suplex and then sent himself and Dragunov out of the ring with a nasty-looking suplex spot as they tumble over the top rope hard outside in front of the commentary table, and we go into a second commercial break. So we come back from the second break. Match continued. Dragunov hits a superplex on McDonough. As soon as he completes it, McDonough grabbed at Dragunov's hair and hit a brainbuster for a very close 3 count. Near fall. McDonough headed back up top, missed the moonsaults, which McDonough gets incredible height on, which opened him up for a big boot from Dragunov, followed by a standing Uranage. Dragunov attempted Torpedo Moscow, which was blocked and intercepted by a J.D. McDonough running knee. And he went for another moonsault. He connected, and he got a very, very close near fall. Both men get themselves back up again. Dragunov connected finally with Torpedo Moscow after absorbing a headbutt from McDonough. Powerbomb followed by an H-bomb, and Dragunov picked up the victory here against J.D. McDonough in 15 minutes as he successfully defends the United States Championship in yet another open challenge. Though they remain the highlight of SmackDown, they are still one of the highlights of SmackDown. I don't know how much longer that Dragunov can continue this. I genuinely don't. Now, maybe you guys feel a little bit differently than I do. Maybe you don't care. Maybe you like Dragunov in this spot. I just find the open challenges every once in a while, but seeing it every week, you know, Sami Zayn wanted to do it, and it made sense for Sami Zayn. It made sense for Sami Zayn because Sami Zayn was a part of the original John Cena United States Open Challenge. John Cena gave Sami an opportunity. And when Sami had the United States Championship, he wanted to give John Cena a shot at the United States Championship to pay John Cena back in his final year, and Sami was fortunate enough to get a match with John Cena in his final year. That doesn't mean Dragunov has to go and do it. Why is Dragunov embarking on a U.S. Open Challenge when he beat Sami Zayn? Did he need to do it because Sami Zayn was doing it? I just find this to be losing its steam, even though we got great matches. And the reason why I say it's losing its steam is because they're now they're dipping their toes into the Monday Night Raw talent pool. How many more guys on SmackDown can he beat before he's run through all of them? The match with Ciampa should be good, but let's be real. No matter how great Ciampa is, and Ciampa is great, do people find Ciampa to be exciting? Is Ciampa exciting to this audience? DIY isn't the most complete package on Friday Night SmackDown. They're used here, they're used there. They're not consistent talents. Are you guys excited to see Dragunov and Tama Tonga because they keep teasing it? I'm not excited to see that. It is going to run its course, and it's going to lose steam. Then what are we going to be left with? I'm just giving you guys a warning. It may be good for now, and the matches still may be great, but the open challenge concept isn't as special as it was when Sami first started this thing. I've been very consistent with this opinion every single week. It's starting to lose its steam. Hopefully they know what they're doing. Does Dragunov drop the title? Does he continue to beat guys left and right? Are they waiting for someone to get called up from NXT to potentially take the championship off of Dragunov? I don't know. Regardless, J.D. McDonough comes over from Monday Night Raw. Excellent match with Dragunov. And if I'm not mistaken, these two have probably met before on NXT or NXT UK. I know they've wrestled before. So if you guys were wondering why they work so well together, I'm sure they've had some in-ring time together before the main roster. We got a recap of Charlotte Flair deciding to join the Women's War Games team on Raw, only to then say no. And then on Raw this past week, We got Charlotte showing up to back up Alexa Bliss after Alexa Bliss went on to detail that Charlotte wasn't answering her phone calls or her text messages. For Charlotte to then come out after Nia's team started to lay the beat down on the baby faces, and Charlotte comes out with her kendo stick to save the day. So Charlotte and Alexa walked through a door backstage, which led to Rhea and Io's locker room. They were sitting on a couch, and Bliss wanted Flair to have a one-on-one chat with Rhea Ripley to work out whatever issues that they may have heading into Survivor Series. Io left, Rhea Ripley was left with Charlotte Flair, and they were getting ready to have a sit-down discussion. And they did. It was brief, but they did. And WWE tried to somewhat recreate the CM Punk and Roman Reigns sit-down with Paul Heyman going into last year's War Games with Rhea Ripley and Charlotte Flair. It looked similar, the vibe was the same, but it definitely did not come off like that one did. They had story, they had tension. This is just manufactured for the remaining weeks of the build going into Survivor Series to give this women's match just a little bit of interest. Other than that, there's nothing. Nick Aldis was backstage with Kathy Kelly, who was unable to give an update on Cody Rhodes after what happened with Drew McIntyre on his tour bus. He then confronts the Vision as he sees the Vision walking towards him. And Nick Aldis told Paul Heyman that Drew McIntyre was still suspended even after being named to the Vision's War Games team. Heyman says that he'd respect Aldis' request as McIntyre was not in the building, and he's not going to be anywhere near the building. But Paul Heyman is playing the game very, very dangerously. He's listening to Nick Aldis and abiding by Nick Aldis' rules, but he is abusing the rules, and there's a loophole in the rules. Apparently McIntyre is not allowed in the building, he's still suspended, and Bronson Reed was about to head to the ring to wrestle Carmelo Hayes in the opening round of the John Cena Last Time Is Now tournament. Before we get to that match against Carmelo Hayes, Ilya Dragunov was walking, and he was selling the effects of his hard-fought match with JD McDonough. He walks in the back and walks past Tama Tonga. Tama Tonga silently stared him down before walking off and said, "I'm coming." And he walked away. He basically gave him a warning that soon it will happen. I hope not. Nobody wants to see it and nobody cares. Tommaso Ciampa was then in the back and confronted Dragunov and told Dragunov that he was lucky that he and Johnny Gargano tonight were busy with Fraxium because he'd be holding that title instead. Dragunov said, "No, and you're still a jackass."
Our best offer of the year is here. With Whoop, train smarter, sleep deeper, recover faster, and stay charged for 14.
So he continues to call Tommaso Ciampa a jackass and call him names. I guess that's his thing for Ciampa. Carmelo Hayes. He goes one-on-one with Bronson Reed. This was one of the best matches of the night. I really enjoyed this. I thought this was excellent stuff here. Ending was great. The build to War Games bled into this match, and Carmelo Hayes had the Denver audience behind him, and he got over big time here. Carmelo Hayes is the last glimmer of hope for any youth in this tournament, and Carmelo Hayes is the last glimmer of hope for a young talent to potentially get to the final and wrestle John Cena. Even though we know that's not going to happen, it still is great to watch. Reed, obviously the bigger of the two guys, he's using his size and his girth to take down Carmelo Hayes. He continued to attack early on. Reed taunted Hayes, followed by another hard chop and a headbutt, which took Carmelo down fairly easily. Reed attempted a powerbomb. Hayes turned that into a powerbomb of his own for a 2 count. He then continued the attack. He hits a springboard DDT, followed with a drop kick to the outside. All of a sudden, we get Logan Paul and Braun Breaker running out from the back as Bronson Reed retreated into the aisleway to take a breather. And we go into a commercial break with Logan Paul and Braun Breaker out there now standing in Bronson Reed's corner. Come back from the break. Reed has Carmelo Hayes grounded in a rest hold. He got the upper hand. Hayes fought back out of the submission. He got dropped again with a back suplex by Bronson Reed. He goes for recovery, gets a 2 count. Reed tried for another suplex, but Hayes landed on his feet and flipped out of it. Breaker created a distraction. Logan Paul tripped up Carmelo Hayes on the opposite side of the ring, which gave Bronson Reed the advantage again. So Bronson Reed goes up for a senton from Reed. And Hayes avoided it. He rolled him up for a near fall with a crucifix. 2 count only. Hayes stunned Reed with a jumping knee, followed by a springboard flying clothesline. Reed trapped in between the middle rope now. He got leg dropped by Carmelo Hayes across the back. DDT on the outside on the apron. And a frog splash off the top rope, which looked great. He goes for a cover and he gets a near fall on Bronson Reed. Carmelo Hayes went for first 48. Bronson Reed countered into the world's strongest slam. He then followed up with a senton. Reed headed up top for the tsunami. Hayes thankfully rolled out of the way. And Corey Hayes, I love this call, said Carmelo Hayes avoided a natural disaster. Love that line. So, after the tsunami missed, Carmelo is trying to get back in. He hits the first 48, and then he hits a dive over the top rope onto all members of the Vision at ringside. Back in the ring, Hayes left from the top rope and hit a DDT. He goes for recovery, gets a 2 count. Hayes went back up top, but he missed, because he went for nothing but net. He missed, and instead he was cracked with a hard lariat. Turned him inside out to Bronson Reed. Outside the ring, Breaker was setting up Hayes for a super spear through the barricade, but all of a sudden the Usos come and put a stop to Braun Breaker, who ended up fighting off Braun Breaker and Logan Paul. So the referee right now is distracted with all this chaos going on. Cody Rhodes emerges from the medical room because they were checking on him after the attack from Drew McIntyre. He jumps the barricade and he throws Bronson Reed into the steel post and takes care of Bronson Reed on the outside with a crossroads. He then picks up Carmelo Hayes, throws Carmelo Hayes into the ring. Referee turns around, he sees Carmelo in the ring and Bronson Reed down on the outside. He starts administering a very fast 10 count, which he eventually ends up counting out Bronson Reed, and Carmelo Hayes got the count out victory and advances to face Gunther on Monday Night Raw in the semifinal or the quarterfinals of the John Cena Last Time Is Now tournament. So he's advancing to the next round. Not only was this the right outcome, this was a great match. They worked very well together. It's nice to see Carmelo Hayes and Braun Breaker out there together. Braun Breaker is further ahead at this main roster thing than Carmelo Hayes is, even though they got kind of called up at the same time to the main roster. But Braun Breaker is so much farther ahead than Carmelo Hayes is. And they were number 1A and number 1B on NXT 2.0. Like, they led that show. They led that brand. They were both NXT champions. I mean, they were basically the Shawn Michaels and Triple H of NXT 2.0. So it's nice to see them kind of interacting with each other. And Cody Rhodes coming out. You know, a lot of people were looking forward to this match, and I think WWE went about the ending really good. They protected Bronson Reed without having him take a pinfall before War Games. Carmelo got the victory. People were excited for the countout. Cody came back and wanted to get revenge on the Vision because the Vision fucked him up in the tour bus, so he came out there with the Usos and backed up Mello, costing Bronson Reed. All of this worked out great. So I enjoyed all of this. And Jey Uso is now going to wrestle in the next round, and he's going to wrestle Rusev. So if I'm the Vision, I'm looking at Jey Uso here, and I'm going to do the same thing to what they did to Bronson Reed to Jey Uso when he wrestles Rusev. And hopefully Rusev advances to the next round and wrestles LA Knight. in the semifinals of this tournament. That's the way I see it playing out. So they got the Vision tonight, and then the Vision's gonna get Jey Uso. Because it's only fair. It's only fair because A, it works, and B, nobody wants to see Jey Uso advance any further in this tournament. The closer we get to another Jey Uso and Gunther match, people are going to get more upset. We don't want to see it. We don't. Jey won. You guys are giving spoilers in the chat. Jey won. There you go. Looks like it may be Jey Uso and LA Knight then. LA Knight's gotta win. LA Knight's gotta win. Maybe they do it there. Maybe they do it there. Because they don't really care for LA Knight either. Chelsea Green. She was upset that her championship celebration might not go on tonight. She confided in Alba Fire that maybe we shouldn't be holding this celebration. Green called herself the greatest women's champion ever. No. No, you're not. Jade Cargill confronted her and took exception to this claim, saying that she's not the greatest women's champion of all time. Why don't you show me so I could show you what the greatest women's champion of all time looks like? None of these women should ever have greatest women's champion of all time ever uttered ever again. Those words should never come out of their mouths ever again on national television.
It's that time again. Wayfair's Black Friday sale is back. Score up to 80% off everything home.
No. I don't know what they're doing with Chelsea Green in the United States Championship. Apparently, Julia is looking for Chelsea Green, and we may be looking at a rematch there at some point. You know, because she lost in 90 seconds, so she wants to be embarrassed again, does Julia. We didn't want to see it then, and we don't want to see it again. One of my favorite points of this show was Sami Zayn with Ray Phoenix, the Motor City Machine Guns, and Shinsuke Nakamura. They cut a promo. They cut a very impassioned, old-school Survivor Series promo ahead of their elimination 5-on-5 match. Basically saying that you've now angered 5 common wrestlers who have the same goal, who want to take out the MFTs. They've all banded together. They're all brothers in arms now. They're all brothers in battle. He put over Shinsuke Nakamura, thanking the MFTs for bringing back the strong style in Shinsuke. Thank you for angering the Motor City Machine Guns. This is one of the greatest tag teams here in the United States over the last 20 years. And then Ray Phoenix, one of the best luchadors in the last decade to come out of Mexico. We've all banded together now to take out the MFTs. This reminded me of a 1980s, 1990s Survivor Series babyface promo. They all used to band together and just face the camera together and cut these over-the-top, impassioned promos about why they're going to win Survivor Series and why it means so much to them and how important it is to them. And each one of them got to say something. Like, that's what Survivor Series means to me. That's what I grew up watching. That's what Survivor Series is all about. And I don't really understand why. And granted, I'm not interested in this dilemma here between these 10 guys. But if you want a Survivor Series elimination match, I don't know why you couldn't do this at the actual Survivor Series. Like, this match should be on the Survivor Series card if you're going to go about it in traditional Survivor Series elimination rules. Instead, we got Stephanie Vaquer versus Nikki Bella for the WWE Women's World Championship on Survivor Series. But who gives a shit about that? At least you'd be doing something that is kind of synonymous with Survivor Series at that point. said this is taking place next week, which I'm assuming the results are already out. But I thought this was great. This is what Survivor Series is all about. This is what brings me back to why Survivor Series, to me, was one of my favorite shows growing up. We should definitely see more of that. And then the graphic was an old-school Survivor Series graphic. Old-school layout. They had the old-school Survivor Series logo. This was good stuff. Fraxium. Nathan Frazier and Axiom against DIY, Tommaso Ciampa, and Johnny Gargano with Candice LeRae on the outside. They both got their NXT theme musics back. No One Will Survive for Tommaso Ciampa, and Johnny Gargano came out to Rebel Heart. Now, they could have had them come out to one theme music, but WWE made it a thing for them to come out to both of their theme musics to let you know that we're moving in the right direction with the theme musics. So, that's it.
If you're an illegal alien, this runway is your future because you're headed home. I'm Christine Ohm, the United.
All right. I think that if
The emo.
wrestling pay-per-view and put this show on, I feel like I will thoroughly entertain my my company. All right. Now, does that mean that it was a perfect show and there was nothing wrong with it? Of course not, man. Of course not. There was plenty wrong with it, you know. But if we're gonna look at it in, through a vacuum, the show was fine. The show was not great, okay, but the show was not horrible.
But also, I feel like you don't want to be
Ash kicks out him. That spot was wild. Brody is taken out for good with a spike pile driver on the edge, and then they hit one to Bandito. I think everyone thought it was
like middle of match, yeah.
Are people insane run in the ring? People forget way too easy. The memories are way too short these days. Because now that Swerve Strickland, that's right, who's how?
I can take your favorite pay-per-view and sit here and do a 2-hour podcast about how bad it was. I can dissect any fucking thing. I can find everything wrong with anything. Then I'll take that same pay-per-view and find the good in it. All right? It's about your overall experience and what you want to enjoy or what you want to hate. All right? I can take WrestleMania 17 and find the stupidity in it. Highly regarded as one of the best WrestleManias of all time. Wasn't perfect. I'll find the fucking holes in it. All right? So if we're looking at this show, we're here to review Full Gear 2025. I thought it was a decent show. I thought it was a pretty good show. I had fun. I enjoyed it. You know, I scratched my head on quite a few points. Didn't understand this, didn't understand that. But at the end of it, I had fun. I mean, I quite enjoyed this show.
And that's Jesse's opinion. And he's someone that has every right to say that and express that. And if you don't like it, you can kiss my ass and kiss his ass at the same time. I don't really give a shit. That's Jesse's take. Now, I did say it was a thumbs up show. That doesn't mean that I had fun during this show. Okay? AEW pay-per-view, on more times than I can count, we've praised. Okay? There's definitely over 6 years more shows that Jesse and I gave thumbs up to than thumbs down. It's a rarity when an AEW pay-per-view gets a thumbs down. Okay? That's number one. Number two, Jesse says he has fun. And he has every right to have fun in whichever way he wants to have fun. Me, I'm a content creator. I take what I do seriously. Not saying that Jesse doesn't take what he does seriously. He takes what he does here very seriously every single week. But me, you know, I want to have fun, but at the same time, I have to be analytical. I have to be critical. I have to have the microscope turned on at full blast, and I have to look at this show not only through a fan's eyes, but from what I've done over the last 7-8 years as a content creator. I have to go and be that scientist that goes into the lab and studies these fucking shows and takes my notes and watches everything that happens and dissect what I don't like and what I do like. Now, I gave it a thumbs up because it's an AEW pay-per-view. The thumbs down are obvious. The shows are too fucking long. I'm gonna say it every single time we sit here. These shows are intentionally getting longer, and Tony wants to go on Ariel Helwani's show and say that he listens to the criticisms. Tony Khan does not listen to the criticisms. And I don't want to raise my voice early on, but he does not listen to the criticisms. Otherwise, one of two things would have happened already. One, the shows would have been shortened, so it doesn't feel like a fucking glorified collision on a Saturday night on pay-per-view where I have to spend $50. That's number one. Number two, the show would be moved from 8 to 7 p.m. And we get that extra hour earlier. I don't know why that's not done. WWE has no problem putting on a 7 p.m. show. But somehow, Tony Khan can't get the fucking idea that a show needs to start at 7 instead of 8, so we're not going off the air at 1 fucking a.m. The show does not need to have the main event go on at 12:05 a.m. after it's fucking...
Much better than bouillon magic begins when you scoop a spoonful and stir it in. Breakfast casseroles and green beans with flair, prime rib, or deviled eggs to share. Because everything is better with better than bouillon. Frankie, pick yourself up! Who's that?
Well, Jesse says that no matter what you feel about AEW, if you hate it, you're gonna shit on it. If you love it, you're gonna love everything about it. There's no in between with anybody. I feel like this is a good show and a good hangout every time we do this, where we give you the in-between. And I'm trying to get better at being the in-between. I'm trying to be fair. More fair than I have been, and I always have been. And I'm trying to be better at that, especially when it comes to AEW. But I'm not gonna hold my fucking tongue, bite my tongue, and just sit silent like the rest of the fucking community who wants to sit here and bow down to Tony Khan after an obviously terrible interview with Ariel Helwani. Meanwhile, I was one of the only few people that actually sat here and criticized the stupidity and the ridiculousness of it. This show, to me, the entire product, I am so fucking indifferent towards. I can sit here and tell you it was a good show. We've seen bad AEW shows. This was not a bad AEW show. But I'm telling you directly to you. I'm looking at you. I am so indifferent as a fan of 6 years of this product. I sit here so indifferent because they refuse to fucking change. Every single metric of this company is going in a downward spiral. So something needs to change. And what frustrates me as a fan is that they don't fucking change what is obviously broken. And Tony's gonna rest on his laurels and book the show that he wants to, and he doesn't realize that the fucking problem is he's booking the show the way he wants to, and he's not booking the show like a cohesive, well-oiled wrestling company machine. Okay? I sit here and I see blood, 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 gore, violence, thumbtacks, chairs, tables, barbed wire, fucking kendo sticks, tables, ladders, you name it. You go to Home Depot, the entire store was bought out tonight for full gear. Now, again, I'm going to reiterate this for the fucking people who are thick-headed because you didn't get the context of what I was trying to say when we covered Blood and Guts a week and a half ago, to the point that I had to reiterate it not only with Jesse, but again with Solomonster on Tuesday night. I don't feel the current direction of the product is where they need to be, okay? I sit here and I look at all these matches. First of all, they had a Kyle O'Reilly and Jon Moxley match, and then go directly into a Kyle Fletcher and Mark Briscoe match, which was more violent than the Jon Moxley and Kyle Fletcher match, which in my opinion, the way that I look at it, is they took every ounce of momentum away from Kyle O'Reilly and Jon Moxley, who bled and were violent and used chains and fucking forks and stabbings. They took away from everything that match should have been. And they go right into a TNT title match where we see fucking elbow drops off the top of a ladder through tables and thumbtacks and chairs and all this other nonsense. So what exactly happened to both of these matches where they had to be placed back to back? You couldn't separate them? You couldn't save one for one other show and just do one that was more important on this show, which in my opinion was the Kyle Fletcher and Mark Briscoe match for the TNT Championship, back-to-back matches. So how do you sit there as a fan knowing which is more important? And then we get that blood. And then we get, who else was bleeding after that? We go, I'm sure there was another match where Josh Alexander was bleeding, and then Mercedes was slightly bleeding. Everybody was bleeding. And bro, by the time we got to Samoa Joe, who was bleeding a river of blood from his fucking forehead, I'm looking at this match and I'm saying to myself, if we didn't get blood in 4 other matches before this, then this would have felt important. And I'm looking at Samoa Joe bleed, and I'm sitting there, and I'm giving you the same exact body language that I'm giving you right now, live in front of everybody, 2,200 people. Oh man, that's interesting. Samoa Joe's bleeding. I don't give a shit. It's a steel cage match. He's bleeding like a fucking like a river of blood, and so is Hangman. And I'm looking at this, and I'm like, every other match on this show had blood. So what makes me, as a fan, look at this as important? If Samoa Joe is wrestling for the quote-unquote most prestigious prize in the industry, the AEW World Championship, he's bleeding in this match. How important is Samoa Joe bleeding in this match? How impactful is Samoa Joe bleeding in this match? If everybody else on the fucking show bled on a 5-hour show. And I'm not even talking about what we just saw at Blood and Guts. Everything you saw tonight happened on free television inside Blood and Guts. Every single thing you saw tonight, you saw contained within a 2-hour Dynamite, and this was spread over 5.5 hours, Jesse. They basically gave you 5.5 hours of what we saw a week and a half ago on Blood and Guts. And I'm going to sit here and tell you and everybody else, how impactful is the product if everything is being done in abundance? Like, I can't sit here and tell you that I'm excited about what I saw. I can't sit here and tell you that I'm captivated and I enjoyed it and I had fun. Bro, it's fucking mistake after mistake after mistake after mistake. I don't sit here like some fucking geek who's gonna sit here and glaze a product because of my super fandom. I have to be open-eyed and open-minded about this shit. Everything you do is not impactful because you abuse the fucking shit out of it. If they tone this motherfucking shit down, then everything else would be important. Why do we need all this on the show and none of it comes off as special? I know I'm making a good point, and I know I'm not the only one that feels that way. And if you take that as JD hated the fucking show, then by all means, you go and fucking spread your false narrative. I didn't hate the fucking show. I hate the fact that this company refuses to fucking look themselves in the mirror and change. Bro, I don't know what it is with Tony Khan, man. He is addicted to blood. There is no other way around it, man. He is bloodthirsty. He is a fucking carnivore. He loves to see human beings bleed for whatever reason. And I'm sick and tired of seeing it every fucking match, bro. I'm sick and tired of seeing it every single week. Bro, you look at Kyle Fletcher and Mark Briscoe. He wrestled the same fucking match on Collision with Dustin Rhodes. What's the difference? What is the difference? You can't sit there and tell me that this is great shit. Wasn't a bad match, but bro, I am so fucking immune. I am so indifferent to this type of shit that I can't sit here and tell you that I had fun. I didn't. Fun to me is story. Fun to me is sitting here, bro, and dissecting fucking story. Where's it gonna go? Which direction is it gonna go? What is this guy gonna do? What is she gonna do? What does this story mean? Like, we could sit here and dissect story for 10, 15 minutes on one singular story. There's nothing that came out of here, out of this show, that you can sit here and dissect and have fun talking about, bro. It's just blood, gore, weapons, winner, title, and that's it. I don't know what else to tell you guys. Seriously.
So I think everything is always about perspective. You're not wrong in everything you just said.
Well, I might as well stop the video. I've made it long enough. Until next time, hit that like button, leave a comment. Please subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching. Thank you for all the support. I will do Monday Night Raw this week, the Go Home show for Survivor Series. Gonna end the video. Until next time, I'll see y'all later. I will make more videos on NBA 2K26, my career. Maybe I'll do 2K17, my career, I'm not sure. But until then, I'll see y'all later.